Welcome to this episode of the FANMEN Disney podcast. I'm DJ Gove.
Chris Davis.
Sean Hogarty, and we have a guest.
Matt Davis.
Matt Davis.
What's going on, Matty?
Hey, good to be back.
Yeah, so this is Matt's second time on the show.
But his first quarantine podcast.
His first Stir Crazy quarantine podcast.
Very
But
exciting.
funny thing is, even though Sean's one of the main three hosts of the normal FANMEN show, it's the first time Sean's been on one of the Disney shows.
I'm a
'Cause Sean's
Disney
not
outsider.
It's true.
Disney outsider. He's not as nuts as we are. But we're going to be talking about some business stuff with everything going on, so he might actually get a kick out of it.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Well,
Okay,
thanks
so-
for having me.
Anytime, Sean. You're always welcome. Now go edit it. No.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So
This is going to be a very topical subject because one of the four of us was supposed to be going to Disney in just a couple weeks.
excellent. Well, not excellent, but
By the look
content.
on
I
his
was supposed to
face.
leave on Thursday.
Oh,
He was going to be there longer.
Painful.
Yeah, I'm only missing a couple days.
Oh yeah, because Chris, you were going down for Mania, right? WrestleMania.
Yeah, we were going to stay down at the Riviera from Mania and then just drive over to Tampa.
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. Well, it is unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Pandemic and all, but that's a good segue. So as everyone probably knows, because of the whole COVID-19 thing, Disney World and Disneyland have both been closed for the largest span that they've ever been closed for.
yep.
I think the longest before this was like 2.5 days, I believe it was.
Sounds right.
They did a day and a half for 9/11. I think they did 2.5 days for like a hurricane.
There was a hurricane that went through Central Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it just ripped stuff apart. So this is unprecedented. You've been closed since almost the entire month of March at this point in time. They closed on like the 13th or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're almost in April now. They've already announced that at least till April 19th is the earliest anything would open back up.
Right.
But also, unlike with hurricanes or anything like that, it's not just the parks are closed. All the hotels, anything they operate in springs, everything is shut down. So it's really kind of crazy. That's when Disney shuts down. It's bad. Things kind of hit the fan because they just don't do it. They just keep trucking along. So as we mentioned before, when we did the DVC episode, Chris, Matt, and myself are all DVC members. And Sean, you kind of have a rough understanding how that works, right?
Rough. Yeah.
Timeshare thing, points
Yeah.
and piles,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
So one thing this has caused is with all these cancellations, is it's caused a weird kind of dynamic in the DVC community for two reasons, or probably more than two, but two main reasons. Number one is that you now have this gigantic glut of points on the books
Right.
and nowhere to go with them. Causing problems for people who are going to plan things for the rest of the year, people who are trying to plan things for next year. I mean, the chain reaction is insane because there's not enough rooms to accommodate everybody. The second thing is you figure people who go to Disney every year, every other year, sometimes 4 or 5 times a year if you're close enough to drive. Like you would not, but like people were like, they're the worst. I mean, some people are taking some people are just.
I hate them
Oh
all.
my god, I'm surprised. So I go a lot too. If I had something on the books and I had to cancel, I'd be a little bummed out. But given the circumstances, it wouldn't be a big deal. I just go some other times.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But
The
this is a
entitlement
rolling
of-
wave. Yeah.
This is, but the entitlement of people because their vacations got canceled is staggering. The ire out on the internet, like on the the DVC fan page on Facebook and on all the the Diz boards and stuff. It's ridiculous. These people are so self-entitled. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, what about Moonlight Magic? When's my free event coming? It's like, dude, shut up. It's like, what is wrong with you? It's like, just book your vacation some other time and forget about it. It's ridiculous.
Well, so
You're getting exactly what you were entitled to. You bought points. You still have points at the end of it.
Yeah.
You just didn't get to use them in the middle of a national emergency.
So
Yeah.
do you guys think that, of the DVC community that you're interacting with there, is that a minority of people that are DVC members or a large portion? Because you're talking about internet, you're talking about people who post in a forum. That generally is a self-selecting group that is more likely to be entitled or believe their opinions are worthy of being heard or are used to raging in a not socially acceptable fashion?
From what I've seen, it's trending about 50-50, which is kind of crazy to me. I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
Well, and typically you would see the DVC community being the most reasonable, right? Because of the frequency of the visits, and they sort of get it, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, this one, I don't know. People are just losing their minds. It could be just that the nation is just losing their collective minds to begin with. So maybe it's just spilling over into the Diz community.
Yeah, it's not only that you can't go, but you're also cooped up at home. You can't go anywhere. So
right, it's like they want to go just to get the hell out,
Yeah. But a lot of this started day one too. Like as soon as we're closing for like a week or whatever, people went nuts. And it's like, you don't get to go on your vacation that you can go every year for the most part. It's like how do you think the Make-A-Wish kid feels who might not have the time to go, to have his trip moved? Maybe, it's like he's in they're in an environment. Well, no, I'm just saying it's like, it's trying to put in perspective. It's like there's some kids who get one shot to go to, like when I was a kid, we had one shot to go to Disney World. It was because of Make-A-Wish. Or some families scratch and save and they have a trip on the books. It was their only shot to go.
Well, those are usually the folks who don't have DVC, right? I mean, DVC, I think Matt hit it because it's not necessarily about what it's about. It's also one of the things that you can rage at that you have traditionally. These are people who have control, right? You've got your points. You understand a system. You know how to work it. You know how to set up your annual, and this is one area where they have a small community where their controls just go and you can't control anything else. So they're raging into this void of, sudden lack of control.
Yeah.
And
we'll have to beat that out. We tried to curse on this one.
Not to I'm trying to walk a fine line so as not to aggravate Sean too much.
Can't be aggravated.
But how much of the reaction you're getting from the fans is in direct relation to the messaging that was coming out of the game? So Disney took these steps before we said, oh, it's nothing. And the thing, shut it all down.
Yeah.
They closed before you were actually getting the real story. So how much of it is Matt and I can talk about this.
I think getting the real story from, right, it depends upon where you get your story. And I think you're right, Chris. But I mean,
there's lots of MAGA hats at Disney. I'm just
completely fair. But I think the potential for this to come was seen in mid-January, late January for folks who are extra sensitive to, hey, this is not, this is a little bit different.
It hits closer to home. I mean, Matt and I, our sister was supposed to be going to San Francisco. And after those first meetings, I had been on the call with the guy from Johns Hopkins and the whole thing. And she texted me, she's like, you canceling anything? I'm like, everything. It's all going away.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, no way.
And she's like, I'm young. It doesn't hit anybody. I'm not really that concerned about it. There was a lot of that going around.
Yeah.
So then when you see them just pull out the rug.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the questions. I mean, I know there's this Disney, but you hit it. Disney did it early. If the country and the government had actually pushed for things that early, the entitlement and the rejection of major moves would have been even worse than it is now. I mean, it's a no-win.
You were in a no-win there.
Yeah.
You were in a no-win. The only thing you could do is control the tone coming out of the government. You couldn't have controlled where it was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really at the same time, I mean, I know there was a small part of me that sort of saw this coming just because of what was happening in the Asia parks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you saw those close.
Those were down for months.
Early, Yeah, so it's like, okay, if this ever reaches stateside, then we've got to be prepared for this. This is likely what's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And they say, I think, was it almost 3 months that they closed the Asia parks?
Yeah.
I forget, because Shanghai closed first, and then Hong Kong closed, and I think Tokyo was the last one to go, right?
How many are there?
Yep.
Tokyo, Paris, Disney is closed now.
Yeah.
I knew Paris and Japan. There's Shanghai and Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Shanghai Disneyland is insane, dude. It's insane.
full on.
Massive.
Mm-hmm.
Massive.
Different attractions than you have here, but
I did not know that.
Yep. Yep, Shanghai has the most advanced versions of a lot of the classic rides. Peter Pan, Pirates, it's pretty crazy.
Do your points apply there?
They can, yeah. You can go over there.
Yeah.
Ish, yeah.
Is it like a lot higher end, or
it's not that bad?
It's just harder to get over there.
Right.
They
There's
have
the
all the
additional
extra expenses.
cost and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no true DVC resort there, but what is it? They call it the passport collection or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to use your points at the resorts there. But
Yeah.
a little
They
different.
do a trade.
Yeah.
So this is more for Matt and Chris. So with these people sitting on giant piles of points, and obviously, Disney's done the right thing. They've waived all cancellation fees, and they're talking about moving some expiration dates, and they're putting anything you borrowed back in the use year. So if you borrowed a year out, it's going back to next year. So you don't have to worry about it lapsing or anything like that. And they're changing some bank rules and stuff like that. How bad do you think it's going to be for... I shouldn't say bad. Bad's the wrong word because things are bad now. But how inconvenient do you think is it going to be for people who are looking to go winter this year, early next year, as far as room availability with the amount of points that are out there on the books right now?
I'll let you go, Matt.
So for me, I think what we're going to see, and listening to everybody talk about this on other podcasts, things like that, I really think what you're going to see is people that are losing their vacation now, they're just going to push out till next year for the 50th, And what's going to happen is, you're going to have a year that was going to already be busy, just be completely inaccessible because of that. People are just going to say, well, we may as well wait. We'll just wait till next year and go then. I don't know. The thing with the thing with the DVC and the reason I think we see some of this entitlement is you sort of get into a groove, and the majority of the people in DVC are locked into a certain month. There's that one window that they go every year. So for them to lose it for 1 year, it's like, well, hey, everything's gone now. I can't go. I can't take my Disney vacation. I got to wait till next year now. And I think you're going to see a lot of people do that. And now they're going to have all these extra points. So I'm sure some of the mentality is going to be, well, who can I take with me?
Yeah.
Or, how are we going to blow this up now? Because we've got these extra points. We basically have 2 years worth of points that we're going to have. What are we going to do with this? So I think really and this is what we're looking at, the back half of this year, I think is going to be pretty sweet because you're going to have people still with anxiety, not wanting to go, people pushing off till next year because they want to stick it with their window.
Right.
So I think the back half of this year is going to be great. Next year is just going to be complete mayhem.
Assuming we're open.
Assuming you're open this fall,
which we should be. Right.
That's a fair. Yeah,
it's a question. I mean, they're talking about the NFL season at this point. They're talking about a lot of things that are up in the air. No, I think you hit on a couple good points there, Matt. I don't see people trying to squeeze in. Like, I think of the vacation you were going to go on or some of these other things. People aren't going to try to, okay, I'm going to take my April vacation in October now. You're going to kick to next April. What it's kind of done is for a lot of these DVC people, like I was always somebody that was borrowing ahead to blow out and do a big one every couple of years, something like that. Now it's forcing me to push an entire year out. So instead of always playing catch up or borrowing ahead, now I have that extra year bank that's going to continue to roll. It kind of reset the clock on some of this stuff for some people. But when you talk about the availability, I mean, just with the housekeeping shortage, with some of the, again, I'm not trying to get political, Sean, but they did lose with some of the things that have happened in recent years. You lost a lot of the staff at the hotels. Yeah. So even though they're saying that, it's booked and there's no rooms available, you'll have a resort that's 3/4 full or 2/3 full. There's plenty of rooms, just not enough people to service the rooms. So those two combined, I agree. Next year is going to be a mess. It's going to be tight.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. Like I brought up the 50th I've been talking about it nonstop. I forgot about it while I was figuring out what we were going to talk about today until Matt just brought it up. I forgot about that. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely, like, luckily I have my February's already booked out. Hopefully, if I don't get to go in February, then there's other problems in the world, obviously.
Maybe there's a special program where they do, you work, cleaning hotel rooms for a week, and then you get to stay for a week to try to address that serving problem.
You trying to get a free vacation, Sean?
For DJ, yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about the anniversary next year. God, having been out at Disneyland during one of them, now I don't want to go for like 2 years. It was
Yeah.
It's just going to be crazy.
It's the only time my kids actually said, "Can we just leave the park? Like, I don't want to be here." There were too many people in the parks.
Yeah, we were planning on, so like the kids going with my sister-in-law in January, fingers crossed. We're going in February. We got the split stakes. We're going to Antigua or whatever. And then we had planned on going in October, the first week of October, for the actual like day they do the thing.
Right.
But the plan is like, before it gets crazy, maybe we'll sneak into the park in the morning and do our fast passes, then get out. We'll go for the big like 50th anniversary like fireworks show or whatever like that. But the rest is just gonna be like bar hopping and stuff like that. Just the two of us.
I like the concept that you think there's a time before it gets crazy.
Well, I mean,
like you were in that crowd waiting to ride Rise at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, I'm an idiot.
Okay, so that's when the ride just opened. These people have been waiting for years for this anniversary.
Yeah, well,
if you think there's going to be a quiet time.
No, I'm saying I think it's the rumor is October 4th is the day that they're going to actually do the actual 50th anniversary party or whatever. So, if I get down there like that,
camping out on the 1st.
Yeah. Well, if I get down there that Monday and the it's manageable, I'll go in for a little bit because I'll have annual passes and stuff like that. But the plan for this trip was to just do like outside park stuff, just be down there. But now I'm gonna have to make sure I'm on the ball. Like I'm gonna set the timer for the 11-month window, and because if you don't get up at 5 in the morning and camp your computer, don't expect to get studio rooms. Not happening.
Oh yeah.
No,
no
studios
way.
just disappear.
There's no way.
Yep.
I mean, I could go 1 bedroom or something like that and use a little bit extra. Not a big deal. Not the end of the world for me, but I'd rather not. So it's the room availability is gonna be crazy. And these people that like to cry and moan online, because like, oh, I wanted they do their math based on like the Jumbo House value rooms or the tower rooms at Riviera. Forget it. Don't even bother going because you're not going to get. Very few people are going to get what they want next year. So if you're not ready to make some concessions,
don't bother trying to stay at a different resort either.
No, home resort or nothing. You're staying at home and that's it. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, it's all about tempering expectations, right? If you want to go, then that's what you got to want. You just got to want to be there.
But there's people. Forget about it. There's people online saying that they should be entitled to like a larger annual pass discount because they're missing a free Moonlight Magic event. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
It's ridiculous.
I'll tell you what. I think what they're doing for the annual passes is great. I'm happy with it. They're saying as many days as the park is closed, they're going to extend it.
They'll just tack it on.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what else are they going to do?
What else can you do?
Right.
It's not like they're closed for construction.
Right.
I mean, everything's closed. It's
actually,
not by
if
choice.
I'm them, I'd be in there doing construction. Right.
They have done some. They tore down the Hollywood Studios entrance.
Yeah,
they started to, but I guess the union started freaking out.
I suppose. That was one of the things I said semi-related when we were looking at somebody's pictures of Vegas abandoned. And DJ, you saw this. What I would be doing during this time is going through and capturing full 3D, 8K LiDAR scans of the entire park. Entire park, because then you can use it as virtual backlot for. I mean, I'd be doing that everywhere right now.
Yeah. That's why I actually said that on one of the Diz pages. I'm like, I would get in there and I would do VR experience so people could, and you could charge for the apps for the Oculus or the PlayStation, whatever.
Just let me walk through all the different parks in all the different nations in my Oculus. That would be incredible. And now would be the time to capture that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to do it otherwise. Yeah.
Funny thing is, they already have a lot of that.
Yeah.
They show you a lot of, if they wanted to give it to you, they showed us some of the renderings at Imagineering. Where they can basically do like down to the studs breakdown of every section of that park. It's nuts.
That's awesome. Actually, I think they just had it was on Instagram, I think. But Joe Rohde, the head Imagineer
you say
guy.
It like my father does.
Instagram.
Well, no, I don't remember the exact platform they had it on.
Powdered grandma, just add one.
That was all.
What was it? What was Belichick call it? Friend face or
angry leprechaun yells like clouds.
Instabook.
Instaface.
No, they had Joe Rohde walk around Animal Kingdom, and it was literally just him. It was pretty crazy, but
it's nuts.
So one thing I'm wondering with all this happening, so obviously Disney's more than just parks. Disney's also merchandise and movies and TV and all that stuff. So obviously they have the Disney Plus money coming in. but they lost a lot of money, not only with the parks being closed, but with Onward being pulled out of theaters and with Black Widow being pushed and possibly digital only and things like that. So my question is, once again, sorry, Sean, it's more for Chris and Matt. Do you see any kind of major, whenever things even out and stuff opens back up, do you think we're going to get like some kind of like large price increase to help? Do you think they're going to use the parks to kind of make up the difference on some of the other business that they lost out on during all this? Like, you think we're talking $8 Mickey bars or $10
have you guys
popcorns?
Looked at the annual reports? I mean, do you know what the percentage of Disney, Marvel, blah, blah, blah comes from the different business segments? Like, I really don't know.
You can see it pretty easily. You're going to get a price increase. This is like the Red Sox. It doesn't matter if they win 100 games or they win 70. You're getting a price increase next year regardless.
Well, I'm thinking like this fall, like now. Like as soon as things open up, like, hey, open back up, $25 more a day. All the snacks go up 25%. No?
Nope.
They're going to want to encourage.
I'll tell you why. Think about how they set up the Disney Plus platform. They can use some of these things. They have more money than anybody. It's like them and Apple, right? Yeah. So they don't have to price gouge to get you to come back. They just want you to come back, and then they'll just do a slow feed of the price increases after it.
They have the ability, because of that cash pile and strong economic management, they can just tune it right in and optimize. But Matt hit it. I'm interested in seeing the anxieties, the fear of crowds. The longer we go, the more I'm wondering how it will actually give you that sweet spot, at least for a little bit, before it just blows up again.
Think about being in the middle of fireworks or something right now, Matt.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Close together.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, they can't just go back to normal right away, right? No. Because of that anxiety. And so what's the new normal after this, right? So are there precautions people are going to have to take now, even though the threat is gone? Is there going to be distancing that has to happen in the parks? And
do you lose 75% of your queue space? Right.
I mean, that's the thing. So to do that in conjunction with a price increase, man, that's a bad recipe right there.
Do you change gate sizes? Do you think you start lower the thresholds for letting people in the parks?
Or
you certainly could.
Kind of logistical
I think they would
management.
have to.
Yeah.
You go to boarding parties for everything instead of fast passes?
Well, you know what's funny is, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but they've tweaked the app a little bit.
Yep.
Now it says my queues, almost like they're getting ready for more virtual queues. And I think what they're going to do with this is use it as an opportunity to start charging for fast passes.
Yes.
So instead of standby, it's going to be all virtual queues, and they're just going to start charging for fast passes, because it's not like they're going to get rid of all the fast pass queues. Even Rise has a fast pass queue. So I think they're going to use this as an opportunity.
Well, that's actually with. Yeah, but that brings up, that's one of my interest areas, Matt, is logistics, pipelining, maximizing. If you take this opportunity to really work scheduling, like let people lay out, hey, here's my priorities, here's what I'd like to see when and where, but it becomes more of that virtual queuing rather than you're literally standing there, you can start to actually get much better throughput everywhere by dynamically monitoring and maximizing and using the technology.
You can control the flow of traffic.
Yeah. And make it easier on you, right? To literally let you know, oh, you're here. Okay, you're not going to make it in this slot, so we'll slide you as you approach that area. We'll slide you in, so you'll walk straight in, and we'll have the right, 6-foot separated family bucket. It could be really, really good.
Yeah, I know they had they announced at D23, the last D23, they had that Genie app coming, which was kind of like what Sean wanted. It was like your own little digital assistant on your phone.
Yeah.
So I can easily see them doing adding magic lamp access or something to it, or magic carpet access, where it's like, you wait half the time as everyone for an extra like Max Pass, $15 a person per ticket.
I love Max Pass.
Oh, I love Max Pass too.
Yeah.
So good.
But it's gonna be, hopefully, not to get too much into the terror of the virus stuff, but hopefully that things flatten out and they figure out a vaccine that just becomes another flu shot thing. But and you can go back to normal social pacing and stuff like that, but you never know.
Here's hope.
Yeah,
You'll
because
get there eventually.
Otherwise, you got to think of the downhill effect, right? If you only have a couple hundred people in the queue,
Yeah.
and you usually have a couple thousand, where are those 1,800 people going to go?
Yeah.
Now you've got overfilled restaurants, or you've got overfilled theaters, or they're all over the park. So
you're going to have to cut capacity.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Well, do we someday get to a world where instead of going into the park at all, you end up in your own, VR movement, 8 degrees of control thing,
This is Sean's
and you can
ideal.
experiment whatever you want, and still, I mean, it's both incredibly lame, but also solves many of these problems.
I think
Sean wants Lazy Boy to buy Six Flags so bad.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And the shakes and the floating chairs. Yeah.
you just want Wally. I get it. Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Disney, better than any other company, they're in a position where they can, if you go look at the annual report, the theme park revenue is not the main driver. They've set themselves up over the last 20 years where it's all the IP that they've acquired. So they're still earning on all of those characters. This is a nice little thing where, hey, we'll give you the first taste. Bring the kids, see the mouse, and now we're hooked for the rest of your lives. They're trying to get it from, how did they say it in the movie? From cradle to grave?
Yeah.
They want brand loyal consumers from cradle to grave. And that's what you're really doing. We take them as little kids. They lose interest for a little while, but as soon as they have kids,
but
there's
you
another
hook their
generation of
parents,
people coming.
and then the grandparent. I mean, it's it's all the kids. Kids
There's
are the problem.
downbeats there, but you get them all.
So let me ask. This is probably more, Matt, I'm not sure how much you get into this like your brother does, but this is more like a Christian Sean question as far as I know is, what does this look like on paper? Like, obviously we know they have piles of money and they own everything, but as far as like what, stockholders and boards and stuff like that, what does this look like on paper being shut down for this long? Does it look bad on paper where they're going to have to compensate things, maybe, not real money, but like on paper money? How does that work?
Paper money is real money in the business world, DJ. I mean, in so many ways. But I think the key thing is it's not just loss of revenue, it's how they handle shifting their overhead, right? All the people that work there, how are they, how are their benefits and salaries and sick time maintained? You don't want to lose
paid.
Well, not universally, right? I mean, there's got to be, different shifts, but that's my feeling is the actual line of loss is how they manage it on the books. They can take
it's
it.
not just the revenue in.
Yeah, they can take it for years if they have to.
You'll see the actual delta there isn't as great as you think.
Yeah.
So they were saying originally when they were shutting down Shanghai, they were thinking, okay, it's going to be 2 months. It's going to be $200 million, 175 to $200 million. Yeah. That's just your top line number. They're subtracting off all the expenses. So if you're closed, you're not spending all of that money. Right. They're not, just think about this. They're not buying a stitch of food for the entire month they were there.
They're cleaning.
What they gave away was already paid for.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you just removed all of that expense. You removed the cleaning in the restaurants and the parks, and there's nothing to do in there. So even if you're paying the people that are working the souvenir stand or the churro stand or whatever the case may be, it's still much smaller on the expense side.
Churro.
Yeah. I knew you'd like that. So it's not a dollar for dollar. It's not good on paper by any stretch of the imagination. You look at how the stock prices just got crushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you guys are more into that stuff.
42. At one point, it dropped all the way to 88. Yeah. At its lowest point, it's back. It did creep back up over 100, I believe. 102, 103, somewhere in there. So it will come back because at the end of the day, if everybody just went to the house, they still own all the IP.
Yeah.
Right.
So they can still license this stuff off.
They sold a zillion frozen Blu-rays and digital copies of Onward and stuff like that. So let me ask Matt this. So Matt, when they were building, like since we brought up the Asia parks, when they were building Shanghai and stuff like that, it went vastly over budget, and we ended up paying for it over here in the States. All our prices started going through the roof. Concessions went up, merchandise, hoodies went up $10 a piece, all that stuff. Do you see them doing something like that to even out the Asia loss with us once we open back up? You think we're going to be paying for that?
I mean, they could. I mean, that's like one given, right? So it's like death taxes and a rise of my annual pass, right?
Yeah.
So and it's even twice a year isn't unprecedented now. They've done that a few times. It feels like over the last 5 years. So I feel like they won't, only because of the possible state of the parks when it all does come back. I think if they're going to raise it, they'll probably consume it in the next raise early next year. So, maybe February they jack it up, but it's twice as high as they were planning on going. So then the perception is, oh yeah, it was just the raise. It's the raise in the price, just like we've come to expect. That's Disney doing Disney stuff. But really what they're doing is, it's a double raise like they would have done. Just it looks a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they're seeing a price increase in the US, that's not in relation to any money they're spending anywhere else. So in the middle of this thing, they just raised like $6 or $7 billion with a debt offering. You guys would never see it because it showed up on the back pages of the Journal, but they are flush with cash. And when you look at those international parks, they don't own 100% of any of those. I think Paris maybe. Any of the ones that are in China, they can't own more than 50%.
Yep.
It might actually be like 49.9.
Yeah, I think Paris is a full own now. Because back when it was like Euro Disney and no one went, I think they ended up buying it back off the other group because it was such a mess.
Yeah, China doesn't allow you to just go in and buy stuff in their country. Yeah. Unlike Manhattan, where you can buy the Chrysler building if you want. Any Chinese corporation can come in.
So let me ask you guys this, especially because you guys have had trips that got canceled. I was thinking about popping down just for like a little weekend because I had some plane ticket coupon things to use, but ended up not going. But have you guys, probably more for Max, he's got the smaller kids, you guys done anything in the house to kind of like get your Disney fix or to make up for the fact that you're not going down?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're doing anything outside of the norm. I mean, it's we're pretty silly about stuff on YouTube. I'd say at least 75% of our media consumption is just stupid Disney videos on YouTube that we've seen 1,000 times. But I got no shame. But I'll say this, right? And God, I'll probably be trolled for it, but. Yeah, it was cute at first when you see these like quarantine videos of people like, oh my God, I recreated pirates in my living room. I'm like, geez,
that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. But then you see like the 7th one and it's like, all right, you're all lame. Like just come up with something better. This, you're just playing around with your video. You're not doing anything cool.
You don't even
can't tell that we're related at all,
mouth.
Can you? It's
no connection. I don't know. I get it. Props for the effort, but I think, we're fortunate enough where we've been so often that it's like, all it takes for us is to talk about the trip. And we know there's another one coming up. So it's like, all right, well, more time to talk about it. And a lot of times the planning's more fun anyhow. So it's like, all right, well, 6 more months to plan.
Yeah. Nothing goes wrong in the planning stage.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean,
you haven't planned with Jen, Chris.
I've tried it. It took like
everything
3 months to
that
book a
could
vacation.
go wrong goes wrong in the planning stage and is expressed as worry and anguish to all parties within earshot, even though it's agony.
That's because she hates all things that are not staying in the house.
Pretty much. Yet wants to go places. It's
strange, right?
Mm-hmm. It's wonderful.
She hates people but loves gatherings.
Isn't it ironic? So yeah, I woke up kind of like kooky in a mood this morning, and I ended up putting the loop from the Magic Kingdom entrance on while I was cleaning the house, and I found behind the bar I still have my Disneyland sign from when I went down to the parks that I had never hung up. So I took it out of the box and hung that up, and
nice.
And then
did you do like a little rope drop in the kitchen and stuff? Take pictures by the stove.
Yeah, I did. It was nice. Then I charged my daughter $7 for a soda.
There you go.
So that's
should do that more.
I should.
Take a Tupperware out of the cabinet. Here's your refillable popcorn bowl.
There you go.
Give me money.
I have plenty of those.
I actually have the refillable popcorn bowls. Remember, my wife hates them.
That reminds me.
I know. I'm not allowed to bring you home any.
I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about it, but I have the 6-disc set of the musical history of Disneyland. Like all the original.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The from Walt's original dedication of the park and like all the original music and the first Electric Parade and all that stuff. It's up through Star Tours and stuff. It's a fantastic set, but it's weird because it's literally all the backing tracks of all the rides and everything. It's really cool.
What you don't realize, Matt, is Sean's old enough to have been there recorded in person. So
I was in Disneyland in, let's see, probably 1973 was the first time I was there, and I have
-1
little memories of it. You're -1? Bite me.
I was -1.
I was
Wasn't
negative
even an
4.
itch. Yeah, exactly. You were negative more. Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into top 3 for the week.
All right.
So, Sean, I apologize. This was not very fair to you because
That's
you're not
okay.
in the DVC world. So, if you
could
want to
make
skip
crap
this,
up. No,
Okay.
I'm gonna make crap
cool.
up.
Okay. So, what we'll do is we're gonna do top 3 because people are talking about the DVC perks and how they want more of them and they want them now, and because it's American, I want it right away. So, what are top 3 new perks or perk adjustments you'd like to see on the DVC side? And I figured since we have Matt, in fairness to time, we'll skip honorable mentions this week.
Sure.
And we'll just go straight into top 3.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll let Matt goes first.
All right, yeah. So I think the first one that comes to mind for me, and it kind of circles back to that, the idea that they're going to start charging for fast passes. I'd love to see some sort of fast pass allotment for DVC members, for sure. If that's the model they start going with, I think that's definitely one I'd like to see.
Like when you say allotment, you mean as in like we can buy more, or they have like reserved ones for us? Like we have our own block of like Flights of Passage ones. We have our own block of like Tron ones when they come out.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just you get 3, but they're not the premier rides, right? So it's not Rise, it's not Tron, it's not Guardian. It's all the other ones. But then or even that. I even like that idea, DJ. Is if the public can buy 3, let us buy 5.
Yeah.
I'm even cool with that. Just something a little extra around those fast passes.
Nice. Sean, what's your made up number 3?
So, I only came up with one.
Okay. Throw it out there.
Okay.
So I'll do this and I'll come up with another one before that. So kind of hit it earlier. Rather than groveling over increasing numbers of fast passes or what have you, give me the ability to file a flight plan, right? Where on day X or day X through Y, I'm going to be in such and such a park. These are the rides that I would like to do. This is the size of my party. And you come back with me with, okay, here's your start time. And here, this is your order. And as long as you go in that order, you have 0 wait. And
so you want an easy button.
I was actually thinking of calling it Easy Pass, except in Massachusetts, I don't want to call it Easy Pass. But a completely different paradigm. It causes other logistical hurdles, but starts to edge more in that direction of, it's more about pipelined optimization and less about inserting at specific rides, individual fast passes. But that's my thought.
One question. Are you talking right down to when your party arrives at the park? So if you want to start your day at 10 o'clock.
So you've got a start window, but then it's sequential, not time boxed, right? So as long as you go in that order, and by the way, they know when as soon as you go to Space Mountains, your first thing or whatever, they know, boom, you are now immediate in queue when your party gets to. And by the way, they know where the hell you are, so they know when
they're tracking you through the app or Disney Play.
Right. And as long as you go in that order, you're in a registered flight plan where they can logistically go, yep, I know where they're coming, so I will absolutely slot them in, 0 wait. Even if everybody's doing that, they still have a better to more it's the flight plan versus fast plan or something like that. It's a different logistical option, but I think if I'm on the planning side, this is what I want, right? I deal with this type of stuff all the time, right? Give me the thing to work through my AI, ML, data analysis. And this is something that I think I could make work. Easy pass, flight pass.
I like it. Okay, we're going to stay much in the same vein for my number 3. Mine, I just jotted down fast passes. And my thinking is more along the lines of just making it so either it's a preference for DVC members or there's certain times of the DVC members. Like there should be some differentiation between the mad dash that everybody goes through to have to get those fast passes all at the same time. It's even if they gave you a day head start, something like that, just so you could try to slot some of those. Because at any point in time, it's not like you have 90% of the people who are DVC there. There's probably a mix, and they know what that percentage is. So they could allocate that amount of fast passes to your DVC group, and you're not always going to get it. It's kind of like one of your Moonlight Magics or something. You might not get to register. There's only so many, but if you're on there early, at least it gives you a better chance to get the ones that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I'm going to flip my number one and my number three, because we're talking about my number one was a fast pass change. So I was moving, so we're staying consistent. So I would like to do either something like you said, Chris, like give me an extra couple of day window, especially since you give the flipping Hilton down the street next to Springs 60 days too now. It's ridiculous.
Seriously.
Give me, it boggles my mind. It's ridiculous. Give me an extra, 3 days or something like that. Or even, like I said, we've talked about before, Chris, I'll pay for the convenience if I can swing it. Or like Matt was talking about, let me buy more. Let me buy I'd rather them charge for the e-tickets. Let me get like a, have like a collection for DVC members where it's like, if you buy this DVC 4-park ticket, you can buy like the, the e-pass or something like that, where it's like you're guaranteed all the e-ticket rides and you pay extra on the 4-day pass or something like that. Maybe make it
an app version of the old ticket booth. Ticket books,
Yeah.
You get so many A's, D's, C's, B's.
Yeah. But I'm just, if I pay an extra, whatever it is, I'm guaranteed all these new ones, which they're probably going to do anyway. You're going to have to pay to go on Tron and Guardians, and Rise probably when it opens up off of boarding groups, and they're going to do it anyway. But, you can only sell so many of those. So either put a certain amount aside for DVC members and do a lottery like Chris said, or just give us a head start on them. Like these things open up, these things open up 60 days also. It's like the fast pass window. Well, for DVC members, you can buy them at 70 days out. And there's a certain amount put aside just for DVC members.
Six Flags has already cracked this code. Other parks do these kind of things.
Yeah, Universal
charges. They call it a fast pass. Universal, same thing.
Yeah, flash pass.
You can do it.
Yeah, it's time. There's going to be too many things by the time everything's done with construction-wise. And it's funny. I was talking about, what about the kid who only gets to go once in his lifetime or whatever, but I want to do all this stuff. Just charge me for it. I don't want it for free. I'm not entitled to anything, but I'll pay for it, but just make it an option.
Yeah.
It's the three of us go enough where we see the value in something like that. There's a lot of people that will lose their mind if it's something else you have to pay for. And certainly, what's that break point, right? We know people that swear by the VIP thing. Hey, I'm going once a year, and for one day I'll drop the $2,500 to not have to wait in a line anywhere. Yeah. To sit down when I want to eat. I'll take it for so it's a balancing act as to where you're going to peg those dollars. I love the idea.
Yeah. And you said you can make it available to the general public too, whatever, but you allot X amount for DVC and we get a jump on it or something like that. DVC annual pass holders can get a jump on this.
You're going to have to find that price point where it still needs to be a premium item. I think about it like Global Entry, right? Yeah. Global Entry was great because people didn't want to spend $100. Matt and I talked about this for years until you get it once. And you're like, oh my God, this makes traveling so much easier.
Yeah. The first $85 for 5 years. This is nothing.
I can just walk through security. So you got to make that. You're going to see it in the airports too. That's going to change. You're going to have to put that price point higher.
Yeah, they have the 4-day tickets now, where it's like you get one entry to every gate for 1 day. So take that ticket and just stack it on that. What do you do? An extra $125 a ticket maybe, but you're guaranteed on top of your 3 fast passes. You get Space Mountain, Tron, Mine Train, Soarin', Test Track, Ratatouille, Flights of Passage, Kilimanjaro, whatever the mix is, all the new stuff plus all the hard to get stuff now. If I don't have to worry about being up at 5 o'clock in the morning trying to get flights of passage. I don't have to worry about getting trampled going to Slinky Dog in the morning.
Right.
Boarding group for Rise. I'll do it if I can swing it. And if I can't swing it that particular trip, no harm, no foul. I'll do it the next time. But at least have it there as an option for someone who wants to, like Chris says, if you want to blow it out, like, hey, I'm using 3 years worth of points. I got a bungalow for 3 nights. I'm bringing the in-laws and the nephew I never get to see, whatever. Let us spend the extra, grand amongst us to make sure we get everything done,
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
Just throwing it out there. Okay, number 2.
That's you, Matt.
That's you, Matt.
All right, yeah. So I've got dessert parties down, and this is we talked about Moonlight Magic a little bit, which I've been able to do a couple of them. It's tricky because they've always got to fall on when you have the trip planned if you're not a local, right? And those are fantastic. Love them.
They're great.
But I would almost like to see something that's more frequent, just at a lesser scale. And so that's why, the thought of like dessert parties, maybe, hey, as a DVC member, you get one free dessert party a year or something like that. Cause those are fantastic too. And I mean, that's something too, that's well worth the money to have that, reserved spot for the fireworks. You get some pretty good food too. It's, that's pretty good. And like I said, it's on a bit of a lower scale as Moonlight Magic, because you're not having to close the park for the entire community besides the DVC members. You can still have everybody come in, but you're just kind of doing a little something special.
Yep.
Nope. Sean, I'm going to go out of order for a second because that was essentially my number 2 as well.
All right.
Just more, and it kind of ties into what we were talking about, crowd control and what you're going to see coming up. Yep. More of those exclusive events, even if it is an 8 to midnight or something. Keep the park open all day. Give us the last 4 hours, but give DVC members that ability to have a little quiet time there. I mean, the last one, the one we did, Matt, was awesome.
Yeah,
the separate,
great.
I was even fine with the separate ticketed event they did in Hollywood Studios. I think it cost us like another $60 or $70, but the place was a ghost town. We could walk around and do whatever we wanted. It was things like that. Even if it was a paid ticketed thing for the DVC members, I would buy it to have that place, 1/8 full for the night and just be able to go and blow it out then. Because you could do, if nobody's there, you can do it in 4 hours, what you're wasting all day doing, waiting in line.
Yeah.
Well, so in a way that fits into my number 2, or at least relates to it. Limited or specific 24/7 ops where you actually have a night only, different admission. You can't do it at every park every night. And so maybe it's not for DVC members and elite people, but it's for folks who are willing to be stupid to have a completely different experience, right? Definitely it has to be lower numbers just because, this is weird and the overhead changes and your cleaning schedules change. But imagine that, one night a week, each one of the parks in a particular area has a night shift where, it's you can come in at 11 and you're out by 6 or something like that, and limited staffing. But if you can pull it and figure out the staffing and figure out the mix, you might be able to shift some capacity around or pull more revenue, but that was the thought was some kind of actual night ops.
Yeah.
You could do something around your race weekends.
Sure.
People are already working in the parks anyways.
Yeah.
So to actually have fans to run through.
It's a weird idea, but
yeah, no, I like it.
So my number 2 is also Moonlight Magic related. And I was just thinking, just more of them because they're spread out, but there just needs to be more. So not because it'd be nice to be able to hit one no matter what time of the year you're going. They don't always operate in every month, but I kind of something Matt just said actually kind of piques my interest. If they did something where, and you couldn't do it every year, obviously because of the cost, but once you pay your initial loan off, so if your property's paid, so you're not on a loan, and every say 4 years, I'd say 4 years, and once you pay your dues off, you get 3 free dessert party passes or 3 Halloween party passes or something like that as a thank you. It wouldn't be available to resale. You'd have to have all your dues paid for the year, but something like that where
thank you for stopping paying us.
I was going to say the accountant in me is
This
ready
is a
to
horrible
fly
idea.
back.
Yeah.
This
No.
this causes them to lose money.
Right.
You understand?
No. So Moonlight Magic is available to anyone on a blue card. So even if you don't have your property paid off, but if you're gonna start swapping up Moonlight Magics for party passes, it's only for your longtime people who have paid off their loan initially and who don't have any dues left on the books for the year or something like that.
Right.
That way,
Who are stopping providing you revenue. Chris is
Yeah.
right here.
But they're doing it anyway. Because if you buy it now and you have your Riviera on 10-year contract, you can go to Moonlight Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of if you can't make it to Moonlight Magic, once you've paid off your property, they're giving you a dessert party or something like that. Instead, you can have like a coupon swap, and it's not every year. It's only every few years.
Kind of voucher,
Yeah, and on that
makes
year.
sense.
Yeah, like an anniversary gift for being a member, but you have to have all your dues paid too. So you're not giving them money. You already gave them the money for the year.
But it's a double negative for Disney.
Yeah.
So not only are you not paying me the interest, but now I got to pay to give you something
Yeah.
for you to give me less money.
The voucher thing makes more sense, where it's literally associated with the overall thing you're financing or paying dues on. If you choose to use it at the end,
Yeah. Well, you have to use it that year.
Well, maybe they give you a voucher and it upgrades if you let it age, just on the idea that you've been giving money that they can make. I mean, there's a way to mix something in here.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you couldn't add more Moonlights throughout the year, doing something like Matt said, where it's like, well, you couldn't make it to a Moonlight, and you've been a member for so your 25th year, so here you can go to like a Christmas party for free or something like that.
Well, I like the idea of,
because they're not worth paying
if you
for as
can't
it
make
is.
a Moonlight, if you can't make one of those events, then having an opportunity that floats somehow, that actually makes sense, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Then it becomes a perk rather than a, hey, if it works out for you, great,
Great.
Just you'd have to limit it because of the sheer number of DVC. Like it would definitely not be available to resell.
Not
people.
if you go 24/7 ops in some of the parks, like I said.
Well, that DVC number is not going to get any smaller. They keep putting up more and more resorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
It's a Disney Ponzi scheme.
Yeah,
At some point.
that's why I was just thinking, like, some way to cap numbers. That's why I was saying, like, do the people who've already paid off their initial contract as a way to just kind of cap the numbers, like the long-term people. And you definitely have to eliminate white cards. Definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all.
All right. So
Sean's like, I don't understand this blue card, white card, and DJ is all angry.
yeah,
I don't get this.
I just know if DJ is begging for freebies that I'm against it financially.
So, Sean, blue card is the color of your membership card if you bought your property directly from Disney World,
right?
Or Disneyland.
Yeah.
The white card is for people who buy it on the resale market.
Yeah. Screw those guys.
Man, that's kind of our thinking for most of them. So.
Of course, because you guys are blue cards. I understand how this works. It's not a good thing.
All right, Matt, what's your number one?
All right, Matt, what's your number one?
I got two that I'm bouncing between, so I got to pick one here. I'm gonna
He is a Davis.
You're a Davis.
Right,
you're allowed an A and a B.
You don't have to listen to the rules.
I know. Yeah. As we get through saying we don't feel that entitlement. Here we go, dropping. Screw you guys with your rules.
Mr. Blue Card. Yeah.
We're doing our own thing. So I think discounted park tickets that aren't annual passes. I think that really is the number one.
And it's obvious. It's a win-win.
It is, and I think Now I'll say we've had our annual passes for years now. Part of it is because we get the discount from DVC, and the break-even point is it's always hovered right around 10, 12 days, whatever it is
11,
in a calendar year. Yeah. But, we're looking at a situation now where it's like, okay, we're probably going to be down to one trip this year. It'd be really cool if we didn't have to renew the annual pass this year and could just buy some, 7-day park tickets and then maybe get the annual pass again next year.
Yeah. I think there's a sweet spot there that this year highlights. And I think you're right in it, right? There's a revenue earning, revenue rewarding spot right there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of in one of those lulls. We tend to, much like you guys, man, there'll be 1 year where there's 3 trips and the next year it might only be 1. So we're always year on, year off, or you might cross years at some point, but to not have to shell that out year after year, or to have some kind of other options.
Yes.
Yeah. Ticketing was my number one as well. Just different options for the DVC members.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I'm secretly wishing that the closure goes like maybe another month and a half, because then it'll cover
End of April.
We'll be good. I won't even have to worry about it. So
There you
Matt's
go.
stoked for the world to end so he can tack an extra month onto his annual pass.
yeah, it's all me, damn it.
It's I think the odds are in your favor.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
I think so,
the odds are in your
yeah.
favor.
Yeah, I mean, they said no new reservations before June 1st right now. So I mean, it's
They're trying to get people to book for those summer months, but they're just kind of cutting those reservations, 30 days at a time now? They're just chopping them off. So we'll see. We're supposed to be out in California in August. We'll see if that happens. It's the double dip in the pandemic, going to a convention while staying at Disney. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
What's the convention?
That's a Star Wars celebration.
Oh,
Anaheim
yes,
Convention Center. It falls like the week before the kids go back to
Yes.
school.
Yes, I was told I couldn't go to that by both wives.
Yep, that's right.
I got the tickets to the nighttime event, the whole thing. So we'll see if any of it comes true.
We shall see.
I hope it does for your sake.
So my number one is a little bit different. We kind of touched on it in a few different ways, but I don't know what I'd call it, but a context wizard. Like, this is clearly an app or, an app type thing, but it fully understands where I've been, where I haven't been, both today, this week, and ever, and helps me dynamically plan, both in the moment in terms of real-time traffic, like a Waze of the parks, while letting me set my priorities. And this might be a soft way to drive towards this more dynamically logistified, optimizing everybody.
Look how excited he gets when he talks about it.
Hey man, this is really the,
I get
the
it.
future.
I understand.
Sean wants all the stuff that the $10,000 VIP tour gives you for free on a phone.
No,
He just wants to be able to track it on a spreadsheet.
No. This is lowest common denominator, right? That's the secret thing here, right? Right now, we're giving the elites the ability to, the elites or the moneyed or the lucky, the ability to, insert themselves into the chaos that is the current system. Whereas a proper system actually makes that not necessary. You can still have prioritization that helps people get a little more optimal, scheduling. But the fact is, everything works better when it's pipelined and given a chance to work in a logistical way. And so what I'm talking about is an app that actually shows me a peon, and helps me work in a way that helps the system, that helps the elites, that helps the mechanics and the maintenance and the dynamic guidance of the system. It improves everything. But you do it, if I can't do it macro, then I do it through micro, through incentivization, through that app, through growing it, right? You can gamify it. Oh, I haven't been in every square meter of the park. Oh, I've only been to this ride so many times. Screw that ride. Flag it. I never want to go there again, right? If that's part of a system, that
Speedway.
the part, and they already kind of have this stuff. They absolutely have the data behind this to help drive it. They just don't have the logistics and management to make use of it. But I think it's the thing that makes this, it changes the nature of the chaos and what you guys go through to benefit from paying ahead, and actually improves things for everybody. So I win a wizard.
Nice.
Sean needs to work for Disney so bad. Can you imagine the numbers they could throw at him and the metrics?
They'd have to pay me a lot, but I actually love it. I actually, maybe they wouldn't have to pay me a lot.
They could pay you in pretzels and churros. They have a lot of snacks down there. Snacks.
We haven't had a Snacks Disney tour. I think this is a future plan. But yeah, there's my dumb number one.
Yeah, if the four of us, hell, if we could all go down there for a 3-day weekend and just do a snack run and a drink run, that'd be amazing.
Oh yes.
Oh man.
I just want frozen
so
lemonade
good.
and
I
Fireball.
can't hear you. Hold on.
Oh yes.
I got so
good.
excited I pulled my headphones out.
You pulled it out? You got so excited? This is a family show, for God's sakes. Settle down.
Now I can hear you.
Here you can.
I
yeah,
need wireless headphones, but I hate wireless.
Yeah.
What's your number one, DJ?
My number one was also ticket discounts. I had focused mainly on my main focus was the party discounts. The parties, Christmas, Halloween, etc. They used to. We've talked before, Chris, offline. They used to be great. Now they're not so much because the amount of people they get in. I would like more of a discount than $4 on these things. These things are $125 a piece. It's or even like Matt said with the annual pass discounts, which I appreciate. But the one thing that stopped us from buying them was that when they started tagging on the memory maker cost to them. So we got the discount still, but the prices of the things went out of. If we could peel off the memory maker. Because we're going so often. The memory maker is the unlimited pass for the photography, basically, in the ride photos.
Yeah.
But when you go as much as we do, great, we take pictures and stuff, but we don't need it. We don't need memory maker. That's like a $200 clip that you're tacking onto every annual pass. So when there's 3 of us, we buy 3 annual passes. You're essentially paying $600 in memory maker fees every year, which is like we don't use it. So something like that. But granted, that would be too hard to split the APs up. So it's the party ticket discounts could be a little nicer. Mm-hmm. Or like Matt said, if we could buy the 4-day park ticket pass thing they have for a discount price, that'd be nice too. So give me more discounts.
I think that's fair.
Because
there you go.
If you go down 2 or 3 times, a year or even twice a year, things are just getting so out of control price wise. Tickets and hoodies, the merch discount's good, but like even the food and stuff, it's like $6 for a freaking ice cream bar now. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I'd pay $6 for an ice cream bar right now.
They are wicked good. So
actually, I think I have some upstairs.
Better when you go to one of the parties and you don't have to pay for the ice cream bars.
Yeah, you said dessert party.
And you make your nieces sick because we just eat them at every stand.
Oh my God. The one at Disneyland, I eat so many Mickey bars. End of rant. Yeah. Okay, so Matt had Fast Pass allotment changes, Moonlight Magic changes, and park tickets. Sean had a digital assistant, which in some way, shape, or form is coming. 24/7
flight plan, like digital, assistant for all day plan. Yeah.
Yes. 24/7 night ops, and Sean wants access to every advanced metric that Disney has to help plan vacation.
It all sounds so military. Everything.
I know. It's almost like he went to MIT or something. Chris went Fast Pass changes also, Moonlight Magic changes also, and ticket prices also. All us ones that go all the time, we all had the exact same 3. And I had Fast Pass window changes or charge for more, Moonlight Magic changes, and ticket discounts. Awesome. Well, guys, I know we did a normal FANMEN show yesterday, so thank you for carving out some time for tonight. Figured while we got the time, as we'll do some content. Matt, as always, a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Thank you, Matt.
Happy to be here.
Excellent.
We'll do this again soon.
Yeah, definitely. And well, hopefully it's a little livelier and a funner thing to talk about. We need to do like a full food episode for Disney, but
I was going to say it'd be happier if I wasn't
Sean
here.
Is. Just tell
but
me
now there's
food.
happy food. Yeah,
we'll do food. So if anyone is catching this for the first time, we do have the normal FANMEN show. If you're caught us on YouTube, it's the same channel for it. Just like and subscribe. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast, iHeartRadio. We're pretty much there. Also, if anyone wants, we had a booming T-shirts this weekend for some reason, so we do have the FANMEN Disney logo. There we go, T-shirt on the TeePublic store, and the normal FANMEN logo is on there as well as our fine collection of the Chris Davis T-shirts. You can all get those on TeePublic. So, I'm going to plug
do you have one?
That's the thing.
Matt, do you have a the Chris Davis, Matt? Do you have a the Chris Davis
T-shirt with your brother's face on it?
I do not.
You really need one.
We'll save them for Christmas gifts next year.
Oh,
there we
good
go.
Call. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Chris tapestries and pillows and hoodies also available. So, okay. So thanks again, everyone. Until next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Later, guys.
Bye.
See ya.